Welcome in, Chiefs fans. We just got done witnessing the Chiefs lock down the Miami Dolphins in sub-zero, nay, Arctic temperatures and feel on the field. Welcome in to the RGR Football Channel. My name is Daniel Harms. You'll notice that I don't have Ryan with me today. Unfortunately, he is caught in some volleyball tournament games. So I will be handling this by myself tonight. You fantastic people, all of you that may be watching this after the game or who went to the game, hats off. You guys, hats off. What a fantastic performance from the fans getting in the stands and just lifting the team, the performance, and everything that we got to see, and actually calling out Colin Cowherd for saying that they wouldn't be able to talk because they would have stuff over their faces. So, I'm pretty much excited about what happened in this football game. I loved what I saw. You guys, for those of you who did end up watching this and went to the game, I want to know your experiences. If you guys follow me on Twitter at InHarmsWay19, reach out to me. You can put them in the comments so we can read it. I want to hear what everyone's opinion was, because that was an amazing atmosphere even in those temperatures. So I'm really excited about this defense, and let's start off the top right here, because the defense in this game was fantastic. It was exactly what you needed it to be. There were sometimes there was the big play given up by Trent McDuffie. I don't know if it was going to always happen, but I do know that it does happen, and he came back in this game. He fought back. He was excellent. He stuck Tyreek Hill there at the end. We saw L'Jarius Sneed get up in Tyreek Hill's face multiple times, jam him at the line of scrimmage, force Tua Tagovailoa to be the quarterback that we know he's not. Playing in cold temperature, throwing the ball outside the numbers, down the field all the time, things that weren't in their favor. Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, Drew Tranquill, the second level today was fantastic. The defense on the line of scrimmage side owned the line of scrimmage in the run game. In the pass game, they continuously pushed Tua out of the pocket. They moved things. They forced timing off. This was a masterclass of defensive performance in the cold. I'm so enthralled by how much this team can be led forward into the postseason on the back of their defense. So once again, just everything that was in this football game built, showed you the kind of grit and the kind of physicality and will to win that they have. Obviously, there were some things that we'll talk about that weren't great on the offense side of the ball, some things that will need to be cleaned up, but just off the top, you guys, fantastic. We have a new member in the house, Devontae Rose. Thank you very much for being a member of Rogue Nation. Fantastic. Always love seeing more fans in here and more people that can become part of the nation. You guys are fantastic. So appreciate the job there. And you guys always know that we'll do the Q&A on Monday. Ryan will have time to watch the game tomorrow fully because he didn't get to see all of it as he was watching, volleyball with his daughter. And don't take any of that away from him. So good job on him. Make sure that you guys welcome Ryan back Monday with some open arms and some really nice, just give him a warm welcome. He deserves it after not being able to watch that performance. And you guys, what I'm going to do right now is we do need to do a little bit of an ad read, a little bit of the underdog stuff. So we're going to do this now, and then we're going to get into some super chats. If you guys have questions, if you desperately want them answered, you can put them in the form of a super chat, and it will get done. I'll talk to Ryan tomorrow, Terry. I just happened to see that. I'll talk to Ryan. We'll see if we're going to do a show tomorrow on Sunday and Monday as well. I wouldn't rule it out. But again, if you guys have a question that you can't wait to have answered, hit with a super chat. It will get answered tonight. So like I said, you guys know we got to do this. So you guys, if you are new to Underdog and you haven't used it, especially right now, if you are in Missouri, the pick'ems are active for Missouri members. So if you guys are new, again, sign up using the code RGR. You get that mystery pick'em special plus a $100 deposit match. That's a huge thing to be able to use. I've used it myself. All of these things that we're able to do with the pick'ems, and being able to continuously, bet a little bit here and there. But the pick'ems are very simple. What we do is we show you guys, they have all the games that you on Underdog. You can use it on your phone, on your desktop, whatever it is. You go in and you find the number that you like and you pick higher or lower. So let me pull this away a little bit because for whatever reason, I can't see any of the numbers in the slightest. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult for you guys. So I'll read them out loud. But tomorrow we've got, the Packers against the Dallas Cowboys. There are a few good things here that I like to see from these games. I do think that Dallas is going to come out and put a big number on their defense. So whatever the number is for Jordan Love in terms of passing attempts, I think the higher is where I'm going to go with that specifically. So, and I do think that this defense can be got. So I'm looking at this being a high scoring game. And I really want to see right here. This is the kind of number I'm looking at for the receiving total for Jaden Reed, because I think once again, he can be a very impactful player. My browser isn't really working right now. So I'm trying to get this working on my side so we can go. All right, there we go. All right, cool. So we got Jaden Reed with the higher on 48.5 receiving yards. Again, this game is going to be high scoring, and I think that there's going to be points at a premium. And like I said, we're going to do this, and this game specifically, I'm going to go to the opposite side now and find Dak and the Cowboys passing attack. Again, I think that you can pretty much find an 8 reception game for CeeDee Lamb. Go higher on that because I think he's going to have upwards of 15 targets in this game and really be the focal point as he always has been. And really, I think that Dak Prescott's done a good job of getting the ball to all of his playmakers, specifically the wide receivers. He and Brandon Cooks are doing a good job developing a chemistry right now. And I do think a higher on targets for him makes a lot of sense to me. So right now, these are the picks that I like specifically for tomorrow in just the game against the Cowboys and the Packers. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Just like this game a little bit differently, maybe more towards what we saw earlier in the game with Houston and the Cleveland Browns. So these are a couple picks that I like. Again, make sure if you guys are new and on the Missouri side and you can get in the Underdog, use code RGR and we'll get you that mystery pick'em plus the $100 match for your deposit. So had to get that out of the way, guys. I know that we're here to talk Chiefs, but I wanted to do it early so that we could get into the game breakdown. So thank you very much for getting with me there. Let's hit some of these super chats, okay? Let's go ahead and get through them because you guys are fantastic, and I always want to be able to give you guys the right amount of attention for said super chat. So let's talk about it. FLDB, welcome in. Thank you very much for your 10. On to round 2. That's right. Round 2 is coming up next week. Who is it going to be against? I want to know who you guys think the Chiefs are going to play. Put it down in the comments right under here or in the chat, wherever you guys want. This team can win with only field goals the way the defense plays. I love the absolute destruction of Tyreek on the third down before the half. Yeah, go Chiefs. L'Jarius Sneed got in his face on that third down real bad. It was so fun to watch the way that they handled Tyreek. I know that big play down the field was kind of an enigma in a sense. There was no late shift there from the safety. Trent McDuffie got caught behind, and then also the throw was thrown under. Lots of different things happened. So at the end of the day, I think that they did just fine. You give a touchdown up, but it is what it is, you guys. But appreciate that super chat, FLDB. Thank you very much. All right, Alex, thank you for the 5 or 4.99, I should say. Rice is better than a Juju, maybe not a mega superstar, but a low end one. Exactly what Mahomes needs. I believe we can win it all with Rice. So let's talk about it. Okay, 8 receptions, 130 yards. And a touchdown. Should have had 2 touchdowns. Okay. I don't like the call. We're not going to talk about the refs in this game because I do think that the water found its level in this game with bad calls and missed calls and things like that. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. And Rashee Rice being open. And one of the big things that I really liked about him in this game is that he found multiple areas to get open. We talked about drag routes, guys. The end of the show on Saturday or on Friday, I told you watch for the drag routes because you're going to get some men, you're going to get some pressure, and they did that. They got Rashee Rice on drag routes on multiple opportunities, and he was able to make them pay, one for a touchdown. I loved seeing that. I loved understanding that they were really doing a good job of seeing what the Dolphins were doing defensively. So Rashee Rice in this football game was and just incredible. Hopefully his ankle or whatever injury does not get worse. I wonder if it was more of just a pain thing where he fell and just hurt his ankle or knee or whatever it was. But yes, Rashee Rice has been incredible for this football team over the last, 2-3 months, and there's no stopping in sight. So that's just a fantastic sight. Yes, for those of you that are coming in, thank you guys for coming in. It's just me tonight. Ryan has family obligations. He will be out. We'll get you guys some more live stream stuff here in the coming days. Whew. You guys will understand if I have to talk and take a little bit of break every now and then for some water. My mouth is a little bit dry from rooting for the Chiefs as well. So we'll get into that. Clinton, thank you for the 199. This team has learning curves. We are ready for the Super Bowl. They still have to beat themselves as well as the opposite team. But I do think that this game, outside of the Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble at the end that made no difference, did a fantastic job of bouncing back and really not putting the ball in harm's way. There were some drops. We knew that. You can kind of feel about this game that they were going to have drops with the way that the ball was. Rashee Rice did not drop the football today. Exceptional hands. A couple of them went through, Travis Kelce's hands. He's just doing a great job. So I don't disagree. And this whole team has had a lot of learning curves. And they've done a good job, I think, of kind of mitigating some of their issues. That's right. Appreciate that, Clinton. Oh, thank you, Dirty, for the 2 rice, baby. That's absolutely true. That's just such a great day from him in the cold. His first real experience with this cold, playing in Texas for, as long as he did at SMU. So absolutely appreciate that, Dirty. We're going to get through some more of these super chats, and then I'm going to get into my notes. We're going to talk about some of the things that I think the Chiefs did very well, what they're going to still have to work on going forward, and really how they can take this performance and turn it into another good showing next week. And that's really what this comes down to. You're in another week. Let's find out who they get to play on Monday. So that should be fun. Brocephus, thank you for the 2. New name for Pop and CEH duo, spaghetti and meatball. You know what? It's not that bad. It's not that bad. I think we could collectively do a little bit better, but I appreciate the effort and thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate you. What's going on, Minotaur? Nice to see you in here as always. First quarter execution of all 3 stages was awesome to see. The rest of the game was excellent, including a couple plays. This team can win it all. I don't disagree at all. This was the execution. Like I said, on that first drive, it was nice to see that. They finished every drive with points. I think there was 1 punt in this game, right? If I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 punts. But typically, they were moving the ball well. We're going to talk about it, and let me see if there's a super chat about it because I'm going to get into it right now. One of the things that I was really, really appreciative of was that Patrick Mahomes saw this Vic Fangio defense coming. Saw it coming. He did everything right. He got the ball where it was supposed to go just about every single play. He was calling out the blitzes. They were picking up the blitzes. When Mahomes seeing the field like that, seeing everything like that, it is so difficult to beat that man. They blitzed because they knew they had to. They could not sit back with 4 and rush with 4 with the edge rushers they had. And Mahomes knew that. He understood the situation and did a great job executing, getting the ball out quickly, holding on to it, taking the deep shots. I know they didn't complete any of them. I understand that. The McCole Hardman experience was in full effect, but they took the deep shots and they were there. Okay. That is a good mindset for the Chiefs to be in. That's a really good mindset because Mahomes was accurate. He was putting the ball where it needed to be, and he did a fantastic job executing all the way down. So Patrick elevated his level of play in this game, and he elevated the whole team with him. So I'm absolutely with you, Minotaur. This team right now, they continue playing like this, even with some of the mistakes here and there, taking care of the football being paramount. They absolutely can win it all, but it's about execution and it's about maintaining the same level of play that they did on defense in this game and continuing that execution on offense. We haven't seen it done a ton in this season. Hopefully, they saved it for the postseason. Appreciate that super chat, Minotaur. Kev, thank you for the 5. Random question on Shannon Sharp's podcast Nightcap. He said Fred Warner couldn't guard him. Is he blowing smoke or is there some truth to it? You mean he couldn't guard Shannon Sharp? That's just Shannon talking Shannon, buddy. Like that's just Shannon talking Shannon. I think Fred Warner can cover just about any single tight end in the NFL one-on-one if he was asked to do so. I just even then. So it's Shannon's going to talk his. I'm sure he would get his in that matchup too. But I think at the end of the day, that tight ends when they're matched up with some super uber elite linebackers that are that good, I do think that they would get beat most of the time. You're going to see some zones, but if it's just one-on-one, man-on-man, I think that would be Fred Warner's matchup to lose. Appreciate the off the wall question though. Thank you very much, Kev. Chris, thank you for the 10. A great Chiefs win. Yes, absolutely. Followed up by a great RGR postgame. Thank you. Again, I appreciate that support, you guys. Ryan will be back. He's just, he's doing fatherly stuff, okay? He's busy being a dad. It doesn't get much better than this on an NFL Saturday night. Absolutely. Again, I wasn't like nervous that they were going to lose. I figured this would be this kind of a game where the defense would play well and they'd be able to eke it out, but they did much more than eke it out, in my opinion. So it's a fantastic night. Thank you very much for the support and the super chat, Chris. What's going on, Quentin? Thank you for the 5. Seems like towards the end of the game, they got their swagger back, as Frank Clark would say. I hope that bodes well for us going forward. A win is a win. I don't disagree at all. Seeing the entire stadium, the fans, and the people in the booths doing the what is it called? The swag surf, whatever it is that the Chiefs love. That's the moment. That's the exact moment where I was like, this is the energy, this is the type of gameplay, and this is the type of way the Chiefs want to win. Physical on both sides of the ball. They pretty much dominated the entire offensive line and defensive line of the Miami Dolphins all night. There were some moments where they didn't, but for the most part, they dominated in the trenches, and you have to do that to win this football game and to win games in the postseason. You do have to dominate in the line of scrimmage on both sides. So great job there. And when you get that feeling, again, I do feel like this team was waiting for the postseason. You see them lull their way through the regular season and stuff like that. Like, I feel like sometimes they lull their way through, and then when they get there, they can just kind of, click that, flip that switch and get it going. So all I'm here about is seeing this team continue to build on that performance, and I think that they are in the exact exact same mindset, Quentin. So thank you for your super chat, and I definitely agree. I see a lot of arguing, you guys, about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The Chiefs just won a football game in the postseason in a year where they did not play their best football. So why don't we calm and quell the arguing about Clyde Edwards-Helaire and just appreciate the fact that the Chiefs won this football game? All right, let's just kind of take a moment, self-reflect here. It is nearly 11 p.m. There were people out in this weather. Let's just appreciate what we got here right now in this football game. Appreciate what happened, and we can all argue about Clyde Edwards-Helaire after the season if you guys want. But right now, this is about postseason play. So let's talk about postseason play. And speaking of postseason play, Minotaur in here in the postseason gifting more subs. I love to see it. If you guys, Ryan does a much better job of this. He does a much better job of explaining how all of this works. So if you guys want to get into the Discord, I believe all you got to do is link your Discord with your YouTube. Okay, there's going to be some FLDB in here. Somebody help me out with one of these little helping comments in here, Nightbot stuff, so we can get that up here. But we'll get some more videos. We'll get some more lives so Ryan can tell you. He's much more eloquent in describing it and understanding it. And somebody also can help me out with that. There'll be more than enough ways to do that. But linking your your Discord with your YouTube account, so you guys can get into the Discord and get the get in all the conversations that happen behind the scene. You guys can also get at me and Ryan with ats in the Discord. You can always ask us questions, and I don't always respond to everything because Discord is it's a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that we all do in there. So we'll all get in there. But thank you very much for the gifted subs, Minotaur. Fantastic. I love seeing the love being spread in here with you guys. So appreciate that. Andrew McCall, thank you for the 5. Most complete game we've played in a while. I don't think there's anybody that can argue with that statement. In this game, negative 27-degree feel. Fantastic. Fantastic. Leaning on the defense, Rice, Pacheco, Kelsey, and Pat. I think we've talked a little bit about this before. Rice, Kelsey, Pacheco, like that's kind of what the offense runs through. And that's how it felt in this game. And it does definitely feel like the Chiefs understand that like they do understand that. So 100% with you, Andrew. Complete game from the Chiefs. A little bit of execution stuff that we will talk about. We definitely will. But thank you for the 5. And this is right here, guys. Right here for all of you that are new, getting those gifted subs, which I saw 5 more from Casey and Mo. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Fantastic. Right here is how you guys can link your Discord, your YouTube accounts, all there. Appreciate the help, FLDB, as always. And again, there's more gifted subs. That's 10 for the night, and plus 2 more members. Whew, we are cooking with gasoline after a Chiefs victory. You absolutely love to see it. Nick, thank you for the $4.99. Sneed and McDuffie masterclass. Outside of the play, outside of the touchdown, it was a masterclass. It was everything that we want them to be. They were physical. They got downhill quickly. They were sticking dudes, just absolutely running through them. So I loved seeing Trent McDuffie get into Tyreek Hill. I loved seeing him come in a little bit early, swat the ball away. I loved seeing all of that play. Even Nick Bolton got in on that. Nick Bolton, by the way, today was fantastic. He was fantastic. It might have been one of his best games he's ever played as a Chief. And that is saying something because he's had some top tier moments. So Sneed, McDuffie, all of these guys in the back end were fantastic in this game. And that it's about not letting up now. Okay. No more letting up. This is it. You're in this right now. Sneed and McDuffie set the tone. Everybody else follows. Honestly, I think the linebackers set a hugely important tone in this football game. They came out early and they were physical. They were able to get downhill, contain that run game, which is what we talked about being one of the most important parts of this game, was making sure you forced Tua Tagovailoa to beat you. You couldn't do it. So yes, Nick, you're absolutely right. Another fantastic showing from the best cornerback duo in the NFL, and L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. So take a little break here from the super chats. Again, don't hesitate, you guys. Send as many as you want. We'll get all of those in to my notes. I have them broken down by quarter here. Mine aren't like Ryan's. You're not going to get his uploaded. But if you guys are part of the members, Ryan, when he watches the game, he will upload his notes that he takes on his computer to all of you on the community page. You'll all get that. But for me, there was the first drive. There was a single back power play that went for like 15 yards. And that was when I was like, okay, they're understanding what they're good at. They can get downhill in the run game. What they really did a nice job of was setting up the tone for the game. They came out and threw the ball. Okay. They came out and they threw the ball. They found the openings. They found the big play. And then they were able to run the ball and get down there and score. So what I loved about that sequence is that they did not shy away, even in the weather. Patrick was on the money the entire drive. And then they ran a little bit of gap and power concepts, which is what we talked about on Saturday, that this needed to be a little bit more involvement for their offensive line and really for their run game to be able to win, get a little bit more of their power game going. Loved to see that. And obviously, I also, I wrote it down, Kelsey and Rice with targets on the first drive. The only 2 people to get targets, I believe. Not shocked. And just a great job with executing all the way through that drive. And I think that they desperately needed that play. They desperately needed that drive. Defense comes out, after that, shuts them down, and we go from there. But this offense, I think, finally, again, going back to a few weeks ago when they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders, that was their rock bottom. Like, honestly, I do. Looking back now over the past couple of weeks, it was their rock bottom. They've moved the ball well. They moved the ball well against the Bengals, who usually give them a little bit of trouble. They moved the ball all night against the Miami Dolphins defense in this kind of weather. I do think that they have found their groove and they found what's comfortable for them. And getting the ball to Travis and getting the ball to Rashee Rice is a good place to start. And we are also seeing when you have a receiver that can make a defense pay, we see Travis Kelce open a little bit more. That was evident all night. Travis was open and seemingly every time the ball was thrown to him. Rashee Rice open a lot as well. When you have two guys that can make plays, you get a catch from MVS. You get a couple of catches from Justin Watson. You get a catch from Noah Gray. You get some plays from other players. That's the kind of thing we've been missing in Kansas City. It's the kind of thing they've been missing. So it's one game. It's one game. At the end of the day, that's it. Like they still need to be able to build on this performance. They have to be able to prove that they can get some of these mistakes out of the way. And I think the block in the back from, Juwan Taylor was not his fault. He got pushed into him, but again, not much you can do there. And at the end of the day, some of these calls really kind of came out in the wash. So not too worried about that. Now let's get back to some more super chats here. Evan, thank you for the $7.99. Let us put more respect on Furious George's name. He was really developed well. More evidence to the masterclass done by Veach in the 2022 draft, excuse me. Yeah, George Karlaftis has been excellent down the stretch in this season, and he's done just about everything you could ask for from a first-round pick. Double-digit sacks this year, a sack and a half in this game. He's going to have numbers on his side. You needed him to come into this moment because he's going to get one-on-ones. And you had to have him take advantage of that. He did. He took advantage of not getting blocked because of a blitzer that was sent on the inside of that tackle. When you're able to do that, you're really getting after what it all comes down to. There's multiple of these George Karlaftis super chats, so we're going to get into all of them right now, so we can all get there. So thank you, Evan. I again, you guys know how against the pick I was. He's done a great job this season. Zero qualms about it at all. Fantastic job. Yes, Evgeny, thank you for the $1.99. Karlaftis did a great job. All of this, like, you guys, just fantastic. Seeing all the support you guys continue to put out here. So thank you guys for the super chats. And yes, George Karlaftis, 100% part of the reason that the Chiefs were able to continuously put pressure on Tua and the run game. Let's not forget he was really good in the run game as well. So thank you guys for those. Scott, thank you for the $4.99. Rice Aroni. I like that one. I like that. Rice Aroni, the Kansas City treat. That's a good one. We're gonna put that one down. We're gonna write it down on my note sheet right here, and we're gonna put the name down. Scott Hankins Rice Aroni. I like it. The the KC tree. That's a good one right there. I'm a big fan. Thank you for the super chat to put that in there, man. That's a good one. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Jace, what's going on? Thank you for the $1.99. Sneed sent Tyreek to the shadow realm at the 2-minute. He absolutely did. That was at 3rd and 13, if I'm not mistaken. And he just said, "You are not getting the football. You are going to be obliterated." Just a great job. I mean, just again, what do? They play physical. And I know that there's going to be a little bit of overreaction to the game like this, and that I'm okay with that. I'm going to overreact a little bit to what I saw, how I'm feeling right now in terms of them getting off the schneid a little bit. And I think this game was huge for them. Cold weather games are no fun to play in. They're not. And you really couldn't tell that the Chiefs were playing in cold weather. You wouldn't have known. And that's a really nice thing to see. So, and Sneed, again, physicality, man. He's something else. Appreciate you, Jace. Mindshift, thank you for the $1.99. How do we survive another 3 years with Taylor? So Jawaan Taylor didn't play poorly in this football game. He didn't play poorly. He just, once again, having some mental errors. It's not great. And again, I go back to the block in the back. I'm not gonna bitch about it too much. That again, there was a lot of penalties in this game that came out in the wash, in my opinion. Um, but there's been a lot of good play on his tape this season. It's about really trying to figure out why the mental errors are happening. So this offseason is going to be very, very important for him. And I think if next year we see a lot more of the same, you might see a change at the right tackle position. It would not shock me in the slightest. So that's all I can say right now, because he's playing pretty good football, but the mental errors and the penalties are they're outrageous at this point. Appreciate your mind shift. Thank you again, Bro Sivas, for the $2. Can we fix our red zone issues? Wildcat ain't it. So you have a little bit of what all of this comes back to. They need to be still a little bit more physical in their run game inside the red zone, and kind of lean into more of the gap schemes still. They have to be able to do that, but I think that maybe might see more screens. I think the cold weather played into it a little bit as well in this game specifically. There's just less room to work with. And again, when you don't have the horses at wide receiver outside of Rashee Rice to make those little tiny space adjustments that you need in the red zone, it becomes more difficult. I think they felt uncomfortable throwing to the back of the end zone where Rashee Rice is really good. And that kind of showed for obvious reasons. It's uncomfortable to throw there when you have all of that ice and buildup and stuff. So I do think that this came a little bit of this was some of the problem, the cold weather, but it's tough. It's tough to really hard to find out exactly what the problem is right now. This game specifically, I do think it was more of the cold, and I liked the play at the end. Honestly, I liked the play where they just wildcatted to Pacheco. I think it's fine to mix it in a few times if he's not throwing the football. It doesn't bother me too much, but I understand that. I understand it for sure. I appreciate the super chat. Longmore and welcome in. Nice to see you. Did you see Sneed put Tyreek in the ground on that bump and run? Yeah, that was not a bump and run. It was a just devastating jam, and he didn't give up on it at all. Fantastic. Again, I won't be able to say enough about the job that L'Jarius Sneed continues to do against number ones. Like it's just great. I did, Tom, I did say in this game specifically, yes, I understand that the red zone stuff has been a problem all year. I just gave you a little bit of an explanation. When you don't have the horses at wide receiver, let's all calm down a little bit. Summit, thank you for the 5. How do you feel about facing the Bills now? Do you feel confident that we can come out with a win this time also? I think that the same team that showed up against the Bills the first time can show up against the Bills again. This defense is legit. It is. And they were in that football game. They absolutely were. And I do think that they can win against the Bills. This is just going to be about containing Josh Allen. If you can contain Josh Allen, like that's what this is. It's all it is. But Josh Allen is at his peak a really excellent dual threat quarterback. He's very tough to stop. But we've seen Josh Allen be very kind of whimsical with the football this year. He'll give it to you. He'll give it to you. So I'm right now, I just want to see who ends up winning that football game. I think it's going to be fun. I imagine the Bills win. But yeah, I think that this team can be in any game that they play in with this defense. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you, William, for the $4.99. Watching Sneed put that on the ground was my favorite play in the game. The offense is very close to really clicking. I am psyched. RGR is goated. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Again, if you guys are just coming in, you're seeing just me and you're wondering where Ryan is. He's being a dad. He's being a dad right now. He's with his daughter, his volleyball stuff. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday, with some more live streams for you guys. And again, it might have been my favorite play. We'll see what it is when it all comes back. One of the runs, I don't know which one, whether it was Clyde's, whether it was Pacheco's, there's multiple of them where they're just pushing dudes and getting help from the offensive line. That kind of stuff makes me really, really excited. I love watching that. So but I'll never take anything away from anyone thinking that was their favorite play of the day. Appreciate the super chat, William. Kev, what's going on? Thank you for the 2. If KC versus Houston Ravens, could the could the D stop them? Yeah, they can put themselves in any game. They can put themselves in any game. That's how this defense is. Like that's what it is. And I do think that when you have guys like L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, the linebackers playing the way they are right now, and the front the way that they are playing, you're in any game. So I don't think there's any team that they can't beat. And I also know that they could lose to any team because of the errors that they've played with most of the season. I'm going to stick with where I was. I was not as confident as in this team as I am right now, but I think that the way the defense is playing, they can beat any team that they play. I really believe that right now. Appreciate that, Kev. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the notes. So, getting into the second quarter, I think that I talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'm harping on the fact that Mahomes was everywhere, seeing the defense, reading the field. Patrick Mahomes was nearly perfect in this football game. He was nearly perfect in this temperature with pressure, with ball location, driving the football, and getting it out of the way. He answered a lot of questions that we had about him being able to raise his level of play with these wide receivers around him. And Rice and Kelsey got the bulk of the work, which they should. So that's very, very encouraging. I think Patrick elevated the entirety of the offense today. We can't say that he's done that all year. So I really want to give a lot of credit to Patrick Mahomes in this football game, and those runs that he had were huge. They were defensive backbreakers. They were absolute drive extenders and killers for the Miami Dolphins defense. Those 2 runs that he had, and then finishing that run where his helmet broke, was fantastic. And I understand that obviously there's not much you can do about a helmet breaking like that in temperatures, but when you can look at on the opposite side of the field and see the other quarterback lobbing everything, throwing it inaccurately all over the place, everywhere, tells you a little bit about the guy playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? That was an awesome performance, and I'm extremely excited to see what he continues to do, because once again, he proved today that when the playoffs come around, he is a different animal. That's the guy. That is exactly why the Chiefs are in every game, and they will be in every single playoff game, because he rose his level of play and he rose the floor of the offense today. He just did. So for all the stuff that we've said about Patrick this season, about how he needs to play a little bit better and be better in some of these moments throughout the season, I think we're dealing with Steph Curry. And Patrick Mahomes, when the playoffs come, they're completely different players. And it was a joy to watch him today, because the dude just didn't miss. He was fantastic. So just continuing to, really harp on Patrick Mahomes today. We talked about Rashee Rice. You can't say enough about what he did. Noah Gray, guys. Noah Gray had a fantastic catch and adjustment on the ball. He just continues to do the dirty work and block, and then he waits till he gets his moment. He makes a damn big play, and I love seeing that. Like that makes me happy. He's just do what you got, right? When you get the ball, make the catch. I feel like MVS and McCole Hardman could do a lot worse than watching that guy play every single day. There's a little bit, just a few other things that I'm going to say about my notes, and then we're going to finish off our super chats, and we'll get you guys out of here tonight. So to talk about the defense a little bit more, I think that when we talk about dominating in the trenches, multiple times, there were a few times where Miami was able to run the ball a little bit here and there, and then the defense said, "No, we're gonna get you for a 1 or a 2 yard gain." But what I loved again, and it wasn't Justin Reed like I thought it was going to be. It was the corners. Those screens. We said that the screens were coming, and they pretty much exclusively threw screens on third down and behind the line of scrimmage because they didn't trust Tua to throw the ball down the field in the weather. They didn't do it. But the ability to get downhill and attack in the run game, to the edge, and in the screen game was huge. And it was the exact same thing that we saw the first time in Germany. The Chiefs were ready for just about everything they threw at them. And the only reason that Tyreek Hill caught that football is because the ball was underthrown. If Tua puts that on the money, Trent McDuffie is there and it will give him an opportunity to make the play. So, all of that aside, the Miami Dolphins defense was hurt. Let's be very honest. Like, this was a different game. It's hard to value how much their injuries impacted them on defense. Would have been a little bit of a different game. I don't think it would have mattered as much, but it might have made the game a bit closer. Maybe the Chiefs punt one or two times more. At the end of the day, I just there's a lot to like about this football game. There's a lot to like. We'll talk about some of the areas that they can improve upon here to close it out. But let's talk about some more of these super chats, guys. Thank you, Enzo, for the $4.99. What is the better matchup for Kansas City, the Bills or the Texans? I think that the better matchup for them is the Texans. I think that they can move the ball very well against the defense. I wouldn't worry too much about that. CJ Stroud is an excellent quarterback, and he picked apart one of the best defenses in football today. That can't be ignored. It can't be ignored. I trust Steve Spagnuolo more than I trust Jim Schwartz in big game situations. Also, Joe Flacco, who, again, remarkable what he did for Cleveland in down the stretch this year, ran out of gas. He just ran out of gas. I think that Joe needs cold weather in January to be who he is, and that didn't level the playing field for him today. So I would still say the Texans, a young, inexperienced team in the postseason, is a better matchup for the Chiefs. But right now, whoever they play. But the Texans game would be at home too. So let's not forget that. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you. What's going on, Cato? Thank you for the 2. Pacheco is the new beast mode 3.0. I the way he runs, he's extremely physical. He runs really high need and runs into the back of his offensive line so much. I love the fire he brings. I really, really do. I see him bounce off of his offensive lineman so much. So much. He does. He runs into him. But I love the energy he brings, and I really do appreciate what he's brought to the offense. He's brought a physicality and a fire that they desperately have needed. So I'm with you. Appreciate the super chat, man. What's going on, PK? Can we win a Super Bowl playing like this? Absolutely. We've seen it a ton. We've seen teams win football games or win Super Bowls exactly like this, where you have a good methodical offense, score about 25 points a game, and your defense wins you the game. We've seen it. So yes, they absolutely can. They absolutely can. Appreciate the super chat. Dennis, thank you for the 5. How much of an idiot tackle do you have to be to let George run untouched to the quarterback? So typically, empty protections, because the Miami Dolphins do run empty quite a bit, and that I believe that was an empty protection. You have to take the guy immediately inside the shortest route to the quarterback is your immediate focus. So tackle has George Karlaftis coming off of his left and a blitzer coming up his B gap. He has to take the B gap first because he's directly impacting the play, and you hope that having more time for the quarterback to react, the play to react, that's typically what that is. So he made the right play, but George Karlaftis did a fantastic job finishing that playoff and combining with Chris Jones there for that sack. Thank you for the super chat, Dennis. Appreciate you. What's going on, Gold? Thank you for the 199. Hardman losing balls in the light. I think he lost the first one in the light, and then he lost the second one because he gave up on the play, trying to sell a call. You want to sell a call, sell it. When he holds you, fall down. If that's what you want to do, if you want to give up on the play, fall down. It makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me why he didn't do that. But I do think in the first one, he lost the ball in the light, but he wasn't looking up high enough. And when we look back at Patrick talking to him, he went like this. Like he was like, it's up, it's high. I think Patrick was trying to get over the wind gust or over the swirling. I think that's what he was trying to do. And I think he effectively did that. And Cole kind of lost it. So appreciate the super chat, Gold. Steven, thank you for the 199. Nails never fail. I promise to keep it coming. Good. That's awesome. You'll have to clue me in on what exactly you mean by that, but I appreciate the super chat and the support, man. Thank you very much, Steven. Evgeny, thank you again for your super chat. Hardman can't track the deep ball. Why do the Chiefs keep throwing it to him? They should. Who should they be doing it to instead? So, again, he was open. I know why they're doing it. They need to keep that mentality. I like the mentality. And funnily enough, there is actual data that suggests catching the football down the field at night is the hardest place to do it. Is the hardest place to do it is in Arrowhead because of the lights. It's funny. It's weird, but it's funny. So Hardman is a bit of a lazy player when it comes to if he feels like he's getting pulled or he's getting held, he pretty much stops running. If he loses the ball, he stops running. If he doesn't think it's going to fall in the bucket, he doesn't dive for it. Hardman is who he is, and like I said, you got to look. I think the Chiefs kind of have to live with that fact right now, and maybe if they play Buffalo, he'll get open on a deep ball and he'll be able to run under it because the lights won't be like that. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing. But who should they be throwing those deep balls to instead? I'd like to see a little bit of Richie James, Rashee Rice to get some of those. But at the end of the day, I'm still preferring them throwing it to Hardman than any of the other deep ball guys that they have on the team. So that's you just kind of have to live with it, right? You just kind of have to live with it. He got open 3 times on the deep ball. He got obviously held on one of them. He lost the ball one time and then didn't dive for the other one. So maybe he gets to run underneath one in the coming couple of games. I appreciate the super chat, man. Closing thoughts, guys. And last call for super chats. All right, we're gonna get you all out of here. This is the team that the Chiefs need to be. A little bit better execution. I think in the red zone they might need to be a little bit more goal oriented and physical, like they are between the 20s. Run a little bit more of those, the power, right? Run a little bit more power in the red zone. I'd love to see them do that, but maybe play action a little bit more in the red zone as well, because teams know that you're going to run the ball in the first down usually. So maybe a little bit of play action, but we'll see. We'll see going forward. The defense, again, hats off. Had a fantastic performance outside of the touchdown to Tyreek Hill. But on to week 2 of the postseason. Chiefs are 1-0 now. That's what matters. Records outside don't matter anymore. It's all 1 week at a time. This team needs to continue to build on this performance. Like I said, there's going to be some things that they can work on. The drops, I think, will be less frequent in not this weather. That ball was hard as hell. But Patrick was fantastic. Also, one of the things I need to shout out, Harrison Butker, James Winchester, and Tommy Townsend. Those 3 guys were clutch in this football game with how many field goals they had to kick, getting the snap proper, holding it, and kicking through. That was amazing. Great performance in this weather. That has to hurt to kick. So hats off to you, Harrison, for getting those through the uprights. But there were no problems on special teams today for that reason. They did a fantastic job in this, and they deserve a huge pat on the back for being able to get not just, like I said, the snap, the hold, ball down. Everything was on time. It was perfect. That is a huge boost. So you can also credit Dave Tobe for having them ready to go for this game. Hats off to the special teams. They were fantastic. Allowed them to comfortably win this football game. Also, fun fact, Harrison Butker by himself outscored the Miami Dolphins. We dropped the mic on that. You guys, Ryan and I will be back maybe tomorrow, but definitely on Monday for the Q&A. This is what the Chiefs team is now. You win with defense, and Patrick Mahomes comes out and playing like that. That's how the Chiefs win in the postseason. That makes me like legitimately giddy. Legitimately giddy. And Angie, thank you very much for the super sticker. Appreciate the support. You guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your weekend. This is a great way to start it. We've got more playoff football tomorrow. We've got more playoff football on Monday. It feels good to have this off the chest, right? Going into Sunday, knowing the Chiefs have a day or two off. If it's going to be against the Bills, they're going to get some rest in hand. So, again, if you guys are wondering where Ryan is, you'll see him going on. But appreciate you guys spending your Saturday night here with me, going over the game. We'll do some more breakdowns, you guys. If you follow me on Twitter at InHarmsWay19, we'll put some clips up. We'll have some more things to talk about. But at the end of the day, man, this was a great performance in this weather. And I'm excited to see what this specific Chiefs team can do because of the way they struggled all season on offense. I'm excited to see what they can do. So, honestly, they can only really go up from what they did in the regular season. And this was an improvement still, even with those mistakes. So, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.